What's up, gentlemen? Today, a little leather jacket tutorial because, well, they're awesome. But there's a razor thin line between looking like a badass and a dumbass when it comes to wearing a leather jacket. And so today, my goal is pretty simple: to help you identify the best and most awesome jacket for you. I'm gonna go over some rules that every guy should know so that you can pick one that makes you feel like a badass without looking like a dumbass. Because unfortunately, a lot of guys that try to rock leather jackets end up looking like a math teacher in a leather jacket, and it just doesn't work. All right, so the first thing I just want to tell you real quick, if you like any of the jackets that you see that I'm going to be using as examples, they all come from Thursday Boots. You guys all know about Thursday Boots. They make the best badass boots, but they also make incredible, sexy, high quality, affordable, real leather jackets. All right, this one that I just got, I am obsessed with. All right, it's a trucker jacket, right? The trucker buttons, the little collar, in a chocolate suede. It also comes in this color they call Dusty. Gentlemen, if you haven't checked out Thursday Boots and you're interested in upgrading your jacket selection, you gotta hit that link down below. They've got some new drops that you are absolutely going to love. Right here, look at that, the gray suede bomber also comes in chocolate. Or how about this one? Right? It's kind of like a sand color. It's a racer jacket. Simple, clean, minimal design. I'm going to be showing you this a little bit later. Bottom line, gentlemen, Thursday Boots crushes the leather jacket game. Do not wait. These jackets just dropped. They are going to sell out really quickly. So if you're interested in looking sexy, hit the link down below. Now let's talk about how to pick the perfect jacket for you. Those who've been watching my channel for a while, you know how obsessed I am with leather jackets. I love leather jackets. And really the reason is because it doesn't matter like what else you wear. Actually, it does matter, which we'll talk about. Basically how to choose an outfit based on the jacket that you're buying. But the fact is, whenever I slip on a leather jacket with a simple pair of jeans, a simple t-shirt, a pair of boots or sneakers, I automatically just feel cooler and I feel like a badass. And the other reality is that if you wear the right leather jacket, you're gonna get a ton of compliments, all right? So that brings me to rule number one. Never wear fake leather, period. It's always gotta be real, authentic leather or suede, all right? There's no substitute, period. We can move on now. Rule number two is price. How much should you pay for a great leather jacket? Here's the deal. It's all over the board. All right, I have spent personally like $1,500 for a Coach leather jacket. That was great quality, but it was really expensive. I've also spent $350 for an amazing leather jacket from Thursday Boots. And really it boils down to finding something that you can afford, that's high quality, and that you absolutely love. And when you put it on, you feel amazing. When it comes to leather jackets, you don't always get what you pay for. Some brands basically just charge like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, like John Barbados and Tom Ford. Like, they're beautiful and they're nice, but in my opinion, they're just so like out of range for most guys. Moving on, point number three, and that is the style. You've got to know what style is right for you. And basically you've only got a few different options, all right? So style number one we're gonna talk about is the trucker jacket, all right? This is very similar to like the Levi's denim trucker jacket, which is one of my favorite all-time jackets. The denim jacket, you can't go wrong. And this is basically like a leather or suede alternative. It's gonna have a small little collar, it's gonna have buttons, it's gonna have two pockets on the chest, and then it's gonna be a nice short cropped jacket. It's not super long, all right? It also typically is going to have a button on the cuff. I leave the buttons undone because I like it that way. I also pop the collar a little bit, right? And then I'll just fold, right, the two ends down a little bit just to give it a little flair, a little extra sexiness. The deal is, guys, these are a casual jacket. They also have a more rugged aesthetic, in my opinion. These are definitely casual, though. These look amazing when paired with a great pair of denim, pair of boots. You could even rock them with some nice minimal leather sneakers, but these are a casual jacket. The second style of jacket is one of my all-time favorites, and that is the bomber. This is a gray suede bomber, which is absolutely next level. But the bomber jacket is, in my opinion, one of the most perfect leather jackets. It's a little bit dressier than the trucker jacket, and by dressy I mean it looks better when you kind of wear like nicer stuff with it. Meaning like if you're gonna wear a nice pair of jeans, a nice pair of shoes, or maybe like a sleek pair of Chelsea boots, these look amazing over top of it. You can also wear them with like a slack and it doesn't look out of place, all right? Now, one thing I would like to tell you though is keep it simple, stupid, all right? Don't have a lot of zippers, a lot of like bling on those jackets in order for it to be a bit more versatile. The bomber also, in my opinion, is the best option for any age guy, all right? And what I mean by that is one of the things that makes guys look a little bit weird is when you're a little bit older and you wear a jacket that's a little too youthful or a little bit too edgy for the aesthetic that you have or your persona. The beautiful thing about the bomber is that it just works. It works for young dudes, it works for middle-aged guys, it works for older dudes. And so these jackets, in my opinion, are the most versatile. The third jacket is also incredibly versatile, but a little bit more edgy. But not like so much so that you're gonna look weird wearing it if you're like over the age of like 40, all right? And that is the racer jacket, all right? This racer is a clean, simple design. The thing that you're gonna notice about the racer jacket is the collar. It's got a small little subtle snap. So if you're somebody that doesn't like a floppy collar, these are gonna be great, all right? Once again, it's gonna have buttons down by the cuff. It's gonna be cropped. But the thing that I love about these jackets is they are a little bit more like rugged, but they also are very, very simple in design, which means you don't look awkward or weird if you're wearing it and you're a little bit older. But you can also wear them if you're super young, all right? A few other options in terms of colors. Here's one in a light tan. It's a clean, simple, minimal aesthetic, which in my opinion works, like I said, for pretty much any guy. One more color that I just like to show you, and that's one of the things and something I just like to talk about, and maybe another rule, and that is color. All right, black is your most classic, of course, right? A black leather jacket, you really can't go wrong with it. But if you wear any other color, including like brown or gray or a light tan, you're gonna get a lot more compliments. People notice those because they are a little bit outside of the box and not as many guys are wearing like a brown leather jacket. And so in my opinion, brown is a superior color, even though a lot of guys just think classic black is the best, right? Here's another brown racer. As you can see, it works with black, with denim, with some simple sexy boots, but it's just a perfect leather silhouette. The fourth jacket is where we start to have a little issue when it comes to older guys trying to basically look stylish, and that is the moto jacket. Now, the moto jacket is amazing. If you've got a more rugged, kind of like edgy style, these jackets work incredibly well, but they definitely are casual. Don't try to dress these up. These jackets are going to be characterized by the bigger lapel. They've got a bunch of zippers, a bunch of snaps, and really they were made popular by guys like Marlon Brando, all right, wearing the black sexy jacket, or James Dean, or even the Fonz on Happy Days, all right? These jackets are almost like and give a counterculture vibe, but they still can look amazing if you've got that vibe and aesthetic. There are a few other leather jackets that I don't own because I don't personally love them. They're the flight jacket. Typically they're going to be a leather jacket with the furry collar. I don't feel like this is very versatile, but they are very warm. So if you're somebody in a cold climate and you want to rock the leather like all year round, that might be a great option for you. And the other one is basically what I call the boxy, boring jacket. These are the ones that you're going to see in most department stores when you go look for leather jackets. It's going to have a pretty substantial collar, and then it's going to just be a big box, right? It's not going to have any zippers. It's not going to have any details. It's also not going to have much style, all right? These are what I think of when I think of boring leather jackets, or like dad leather jackets. The guy thinks, oh, I'm going to wear a leather jacket and look cool. Unfortunately, he doesn't, because he buys the most basic, boring jacket out there. But some guys like that. So those are basically the different styles and options when it comes to leather jackets. You can find one that works for you. They come in both suede and they come in the smooth leather, which brings me to another rule. Don't wear shiny leather. In my opinion, the matte leather looks a lot more luxe, a lot more rich, and just a lot more casual cool than something that's like super shiny. The super shiny leathers, in my opinion, look cheap and fake. The next thing we got to talk about is your aesthetic. One of the things that you're going to have to figure out when you're actually buying a leather jacket is what is your day-to-day aesthetic, or what do you like to wear casually on the weekends? When you're going to work in the professional environment, a lot of guys aren't going to wear the leather because it does look better with jeans and your more casual looks. There are going to be better jackets out there for business workwear, right? Whether or not it's a driving jacket or a pea coat. I don't necessarily think that a leather jacket is synonymous with business casual, all right? It's for bad boy business casual in terms of you looking like a badass. But the deal is, the thing that really makes guys look funny in a leather jacket is when your aesthetic or your style is mismatched with the jacket style that you're actually wearing. You've got to align it. If you're a more basic, simple guy that doesn't like a lot of edgy style or rugged looks, then you're probably going to want to go with something like a bomber, or at most, in terms of style, is the racer jacket. It can work. But if you're somebody that's a little bit more rugged, a little bit more edgy, maybe a little bit more like casual cool, then go with the trucker, go with the bomber, go with the racer if you want. And if you want to, you could go with the moto. It's really dependent upon you making the look work for you. The next rule we got to talk about is shoes, because even though we just talked about like your style and your aesthetic, shoes and jackets are one of the things that they've got to work together, or else you're going to look really funny. If you're wearing a leather jacket, basically you're going to want to wear something like a boot, or maybe a minimal leather sneaker, or depending on your outfit and the look that you're going for, you could get away with a casual sneak like a Jordan or something like that. Shoes to avoid when wearing a leather jacket: Hey Dudes, Toms, basically anything that makes you look like a dad, right? Running sneakers, dad sneakers. It just doesn't work with the aesthetic. Leather jackets are badass, they're bad boy, and so the footwear, once again, has to be synonymous. And the last rule we got to talk about is fit, because fit is everything when it comes to clothing, but leather jackets specifically. You don't want to wear something that's too big, too baggy. You want to make sure that it feels like a little bit of a stylish leather hug when you actually wear it, all right? Let me just show you. This jacket that I'm wearing is a small. I am 5'6" and a little bit, I'm 160 pounds, all right? And as you can see, there's not a huge amount of room in it. One of the mistakes that guys make is they buy too big of a size, or they size up. You want to wear the size jacket that typically you wear in a t-shirt. So if you wear a small, buy a small. If you wear a medium, buy a medium. But you want it to be fitted, because the one beautiful thing about leather is that it does stretch. It's almost like something that becomes part of you. So even if it's a little bit snug when you first get it, when you zip it up, it's okay. Wear it. Do a few push-ups. It will loosen up. It will break in. But the bottom line is this: leather jackets are amazing. There's a razor-thin line between looking like a badass and a dumbass. Hopefully, this video is going to keep you always looking like a badass.